So, you want to learn how to play piano? Well, stick around. On today's show, our subject is holiday favorites. Oksana Kolesnikova discusses and plays the Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy from the Nutcracker Suite. Let's try to just get it down to its bare bones if we can at the very beginning here, and just play a single note melody line. Let's just do that.
Yeah, actually the single note melody is very simple and something like this. And then you have left hand little mini scales, what I call it. One starts on E, and then you have. And now on B, going down.
Okay.
So.
All right. Now the chord, and I know it doesn't really apply to this tune correctly because it's more of a written out thing. But if we had to try to determine a chord structure underneath that at the beginning, are we in a position where we could do that?
Well, basically, I would suggest more have a feel for the intervals. Like we would start, for example, like the left hand we would start in the key of E minor. Okay. And we're going to have this E in the bass occurring every first and the third beats. And then the first three fingers you're going to use going in upwards motion by thirds in sort of a chromatic scale.
And by thirds, you just mean skipping one note, right?
Yeah. Yeah, your ear can be a guidance. Melody you can dress up also with different intervals. You can use sixths, you can use fifth, fourth, thirds. What is interval? Interval is...
I was just going to ask. Thank you. I was going to say, if you'll give us a very quick primer on what
it's two notes played simultaneously, and like, for example, seconds would be a distance between, next to each other. There's a third, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So basically you keep that melody in the pinky, and you just use different intervals, which you can have your ear be a guidance. So here
let's see that left-hand one you did before. Let's do that one slower. That's something we might be able to just really steal visually from taking a peek at it. So what were you doing on that one?
So we were doing, this piece is in key of E minor. So we just use this as a bass for every first and third beats. Then we go in A. Then we go into black keys. So all thirds.
And always coming back down and jumping on the E. Okay, do that for us one more time.
So you can use first
and just climbing yourself right up the ladder there.
Yes. So very easy, neat. And that's a nice dainty sound putting it together. Kind of mysterious.
It is, or it kind of reminds me of, which I'm sure is why it was written that way. It's like it's like somebody's sneaking across the floor.
Definitely. That's why the staccatos, instead of playing like that, you can do a little staccato motion.
When it's not staccato, it's like a snake slithering across the floor. And when it's staccato, it's like a mouse running across the floor. It's like tickling across that way. Okay, well, moving on down then through the tune a little bit, what else goes on? Anything you can fill us in on here?
Well, when you combine that together, you start actually melody on the second beat. So it's kind of a little bit off. So we capture some of that instrumentation. And also we have harp, which occurs in the orchestral version, and I love the harp sound.
Nice. Now you're holding your pedal down during that whole time,
I hold the pedal,
and so that whole thing.
So it connects.
So you can imagine a harp player just up and down the strings and not ever stopping them from ringing. Now, what notes were you picking out of that? I mean, how did you come up with, how did you figure that out?
Well, basically, this is like we use this chord and we duplicate it. Yes, we duplicate it in the right hand. Then we move to F.
So you really are, although it's going on and it sounds, you know...
It repeats exactly the same in the right hand.
That's what I was just going to say. You're doing exactly the same thing in the left that you're doing in the right. But by holding the pedal down and just doing it a few times, it really gives it this very...
roll from one to
this very, you know, heavenly sound, or harp sound, however you want to do it that way. Anything, I'm sure you won't just be doing that single left-hand part. Anything else happening in the left hand that you can tell us about before
Well, this melody comes back the second time round at the end, and to do something different, I would jump all the way higher there, and even though it's a huge register, the piano, we have octaves that are the same, so you just use the same melody line.
Okay, so you're doing at that point, the thing was happening way up high, but you're
all
getting
the way right
this
here,
counter melody was happening underneath in the left hand. Okay, all right. Well, listen, let's hear you play this tune then, and we'll look for all those little things we talked about, the little octaves doing that, and especially that little harp part. Nice. Hey, very nice.
Fun tune.
That is a fun tune. It's fun to hear it played. I'm lucky enough to sit this close and see it up close. So thanks so much.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it.
The Piano Guide is also made possible in part by the Pearl River Piano Company, celebrating 50 years of supplying the world with pianos, from uprights to concert grands.